Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Life is a journey filled with challenges, choices, and countless opportunities for growth. Along the way, we all seek clarity, something to guide us when the road gets tough or when we feel lost. For me, that clarity came in the form of 3 simple yet powerful rules. These rules didn't just shape my actions, they transformed my mindset, my relationships, and my future. Today, I'm here to share them with you not as instructions, but as inspiration. If these rules could change my life, imagine what they could do for yours. Let's unlock the potential within us all. Let me tell you something. Life isn't about grand gestures or massive leaps forward every single day. It's about the small, deliberate steps you take, the little changes you make, and the simple rules you choose to live by. These aren't just guidelines or suggestions, they're the foundation of everything. Because the truth is, success, growth, and transformation don't come from doing everything at once. They come from mastering the basics and letting those basics shape your actions day after day. You see, we often get caught up in the big picture. We dream of standing on the mountaintop, feeling the wind on our face, but we forget about the climb. We forget that the summit is reached one step at a time. And that's where simple rules come in. They're like a compass, pointing you in the right direction. They keep you grounded when things get tough, and they remind you of what truly matters when distractions come knocking. Think about this for a moment. Imagine your life as a ship out there on the open sea. Now, without a rudder, that ship will drift aimlessly, no matter how strong the wind blows. But give it a small rudder, just a simple mechanism, and suddenly that ship can navigate through storms, waves, and endless horizons. That's what these rules do. They steer you, they guide you, and even when the waves get rough, they keep you moving forward. Here's the beauty of it all: small changes, small actions, and small rules lead to massive transformations. It's like planting a seed. At first, it's tiny, almost insignificant. But with time, care, and consistency, that seed grows into a towering tree. And when you look back, you realize it wasn't about one moment of greatness, it was about the small, steady moments that added up to something extraordinary. Now, let me tell you something else. These rules, they aren't complicated. They don't require a degree, a fortune, or some magical ability. They're simple, but that doesn't mean they're easy. Oh no. They require discipline, commitment, and the willingness to show up, even when you don't feel like it. They demand that you put in the work, that you keep going when others quit, and that you trust the process, even when the results aren't immediate. Because let me tell you, the results won't come overnight. Change doesn't work like that. You won't wake up tomorrow and see your entire life transformed just because you decided to follow a rule today. But if you stick with it, if you trust in those small, steady changes, one day you'll look back and realize just how far you've come. You'll see the transformation not in a single moment, but in the accumulation of all those moments, all those choices, and all those small steps forward. And here's the thing about simple rules: they bring clarity. In a world full of noise, distractions, and endless options, clarity is a gift. It's the ability to say, this is what matters, and this is what I'm going to focus on. It's the ability to tune out the unnecessary and zero in on the essential. And when you do that, when you focus on what truly matters, everything else starts to fall into place. So don't underestimate the power of simplicity. Don't think that because a rule is simple, it's not effective. Simplicity is strength, it's focus, it's power. And when you live by simple rules, you create a life of purpose, direction, and meaning. You stop drifting and start steering. You stop reacting and start creating. Now, I'm not saying it'll be easy. Life will test you. It'll throw challenges your way, and there will be days when you'll want to give up. But that's when your rules will matter the most. They'll be your anchor in the storm, your guide through the chaos, and your reminder that no matter how tough things get, you have what it takes to keep going. So what are these rules? That's up to you. They could be as simple as showing gratitude every day, staying consistent with your goals, or treating others with kindness. The specifics don't matter as much as the commitment to live by them. Because when you commit to simple rules, you commit to a better version of yourself. You commit to growth, to resilience, and to the belief that even the smallest changes can lead to the biggest transformations. And that's the truth. Transformation doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect opportunity. It comes from deciding right here, right now, to make a change, no matter how small. It comes from believing that your actions, your choices, and your rules have the power to shape your life one day at a time. So as you listen to this, ask yourself, what are the rules that will guide you? What are the small changes you're willing to make? And how will you use them to create the life you want? Because the power is in your hands. The choice is yours. And the transformation, that's just waiting for you to take the first step. Let's talk about priorities. Life will throw 1,000 things at you every single day, pulling you in every direction, demanding your time, your energy, your attention. And if you're not careful, you'll find yourself scattered, chasing after everything and achieving nothing. But here's the truth: you can't do it all. You can't please everyone, and you can't say yes to everything. The key is knowing what truly matters and putting your energy where it counts. You've got to take a moment and ask yourself what's really important. What's at the core of your life, the foundation of who you are and who you want to be. It's not about what other people think you should do or what society tells you is valuable. It's about your values, your goals, and the vision you have for your life. That's where your focus should be. That's what deserves your time and effort. When you prioritize what matters, you create clarity. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align with your purpose. You stop letting distractions dictate your day. Instead, you start moving with intention. You start making decisions that serve your goals, your growth, and your happiness. And let me tell you, that kind of focus, it's powerful. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't easy. Life will test you. It will tempt you with shortcuts, with quick wins, with things that look good in the moment, but don't serve your long-term vision. You've got to be strong enough to say no to those distractions. You've got to have the discipline to stay true to your path, even when it's not the easiest or the most popular choice. Let me break it down for you. Imagine your life as a garden. Every single day, you've got a limited amount of water and sunlight to give. If you try to spread it across every single plant, none of them will grow strong. But if you focus on the plants that matter most, the ones that align with your goals, those plants will thrive. And when they thrive, they'll bear fruit. It's the same with your time and energy. They're limited resources. You can't give them to everything and everyone. You've got to choose where to invest them. You've got to focus on what truly matters and let go of the rest. And here's the thing: when you start prioritizing, people will notice. They'll see you saying no to things that don't serve you. They'll see you focusing on your goals, your values, your vision, and some of them won't like it. They'll try to pull you back, to keep you where you were, to make you doubt your path. But you've got to stay strong. You've got to remind yourself why you started, why this matters, and what's at stake if you don't follow through. This isn't just about success or achievement. It's about living a life that's true to who you are. It's about aligning your actions with your values, so that every step you take feels right. It's about creating a life you can be proud of, a life that reflects your deepest beliefs and aspirations. Now, let me tell you something else. When you start prioritizing what truly matters, you'll feel a sense of freedom. You'll stop carrying the weight of things that don't serve you. You'll stop worrying about pleasing everyone else. And you'll start living for yourself, for your goals, for your vision. But let me warn you, this kind of focus takes work. It takes reflection to figure out what really matters to you. It takes courage to let go of things that don't align with your values. And it takes discipline to stay on track when distractions come your way. You've got to be willing to look at your life and ask the hard questions. What am I spending my time on? What am I giving my energy to? And most importantly, does this align with my values and my goals? If the answer is no, then it's time to make a change. Because let me tell you, every moment you spend on something that doesn't matter is a moment you could be spending on something that does. Every ounce of energy you give to distractions is energy you could be using to build your dreams. And every time you say yes to something that doesn't align with your values, you're saying no to something that does. So make the choice. Prioritize what truly matters. Focus your time, your energy, your attention on the things that align with your values and your vision, and let go of the rest. Because when you do that, when you live with that kind of clarity and intention, you'll start to see results. You'll start to feel a sense of purpose, of fulfillment, of alignment. And that's what life is all about. You've got one life to live, one shot to make it count. Don't waste it on things that don't matter. Don't let distractions steal your focus or other people's expectations dictate your path. Take control. Decide what's important to you. And then live every day in alignment with those priorities. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. Because when you prioritize what truly matters, you create a life that's meaningful, a life that's fulfilling, a life that's true to who you are. And that, my friend, is the greatest success of all. Let me tell you something. There's a trap a lot of us fall into, a mindset that holds us back and keeps us from reaching our full potential. It's the idea that we've got to be perfect, that every step we take, every move we make, has to be flawless. But that's not how success works. That's not how growth happens. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, doing the work, and trusting that those small, steady efforts will lead to something great. You see, perfection is a myth. It's this impossible standard that keeps us stuck, afraid to take risks, afraid to fail, afraid to even try. We think if I can't do it perfectly, why bother? But that's the wrong question. The real question is, are you willing to show up, even when it's messy, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it? Because that's what matters. That's what makes the difference. Consistency is where the magic happens. It's not glamorous, and it's not always exciting, but it's powerful. It's about putting in the work day after day, even when the results aren't immediate. It's about building habits, creating momentum, and trusting the process. And let me tell you, the process works. It might not be fast, it might not be flashy, but it works. Think about a river carving through rock. It doesn't happen in a day or a week or even a year. It happens over time through persistence, through consistency. That water keeps flowing, keeps pushing, keeps wearing down the rock until one day, there's a canyon. That's what consistency does. It creates change, not all at once, but bit by bit, moment by moment, step by step. Now, I know what you're thinking. Showing up every day sounds simple, but it's not easy. Life gets in the way. There are distractions, doubts, setbacks. Some days you won't feel motivated. Some days you'll want to quit. But that's the test. Can you show up even when it's hard? Can you keep going even when it feels like you're not making progress? Because that's where growth happens, in those moments when you push through the resistance and keep moving forward. Perfection, on the other hand, is paralyzing. It makes you hesitate. It makes you overthink. It keeps you stuck in this cycle of planning and procrastinating because you're so afraid of making a mistake. But let me tell you something, mistakes are part of the journey. They're not failures, they're lessons. They're opportunities to learn, to adjust, to get better. And you can't learn, you can't grow if you're too afraid to take that first step. Consistency doesn't demand perfection. It doesn't ask you to get it right every time. It just asks you to show up, to try, to put in the effort. And over time, that effort adds up. It compounds. It creates momentum. And before you know it, you're making progress, even if it's not perfect. Let me give you an example. Imagine you want to get in shape. You could spend weeks trying to design the perfect workout plan, waiting for the perfect gym, the perfect J, the perfect conditions. Or you could start today, right now, with what you have. Maybe it's a 10-minute walk, a few push-ups, whatever you can do. It might not be perfect, but it's a start. And if you keep showing up, if you keep doing something every day, you'll see results. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but eventually, the progress will come. That's the power of consistency. It's about progress, not perfection. It's about doing what you can, where you are, with what you have. It's about trusting that the small steps you take today will lead to big changes over time. And let me tell you something else. Consistency builds confidence. When you show up every day, you prove to yourself that you can do it. You prove that you're capable, that you're resilient, that you're committed. And that confidence carries over into everything you do. It makes you stronger, more focused, more determined. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't aim high. I'm not saying you shouldn't strive for excellence. But don't let the pursuit of perfection hold you back. Don't let it keep you from starting, from trying, from showing up. Because at the end of the day, it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about doing the work day in and day out and trusting that the results will come. So ask yourself, what can you do today? What small step can you take right now, no matter how imperfect it might be? And then do it. Show up, do the work, and keep showing up every single day. Because when you do that, when you commit to consistency over perfection, you'll see progress. You'll see growth. And you'll see just how powerful you really are. Remember, it's not about how perfect you are, it's about how persistent you are. It's about the effort, the commitment, the willingness to keep going, no matter what. That's what leads to success. That's what leads to transformation. So let go of perfection, embrace consistency, and watch what happens. Failure. That's a word most people fear, isn't it? It's a word that makes us hesitate, that makes us question ourselves, that makes us doubt whether we're good enough. But let me tell you something right now, failure is not the end. It's not something to run from or to be ashamed of. Failure is a teacher, one of the best you'll ever have, if you're willing to listen and learn. When you fail, it's not a sign that you're not capable. It's not a reflection of your worth. Failure is feedback. It's the world's way of saying, this didn't work, but here's what you can learn from it. Here's how you can grow, how you can adjust, how you can come back stronger. And that's the key, to see failure not as a roadblock, but as a stepping stone. Now, I'm not saying failure feels good. It doesn't. It stings. It's uncomfortable. It challenges your ego and tests your resolve. But those moments of discomfort, that's where growth happens. That's where you learn what you're made of. Because every time you fail, you're given a choice. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. Think about this: every successful person you admire, every story of greatness you've ever heard, has one thing in common: failure. They didn't get it right the first time. They didn't avoid mistakes or setbacks. They faced them, learned from them, and kept moving forward. Because they understood that failure is part of the process. It's not a detour, it's the path itself. When you embrace failure as a teacher, you shift your perspective. You stop seeing mistakes as the end of the road and start seeing them as opportunities to grow. You start asking yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to get better? And when you do that, failure stops being something to fear. It becomes something to embrace, something to use, something to transform into success. Let me break it down for you. Imagine you're building a bridge, stone by stone. Each stone represents an effort, a step forward. Sometimes a stone doesn't fit. It's too big, too small, too uneven. That's failure. But do you throw away the whole bridge? Do you give up and walk away? No, you figure out why that stone didn't fit, and you find a better one. You keep building. And before you know it, you've got a bridge strong enough to carry you to the other side. Failure is like that. It's a chance to adjust, to adapt, to find a better way. It's not a stop sign, it's a yield sign. It's a moment to pause, to reflect, and then to keep moving forward. Now, let me tell you something else about failure. It builds resilience. Every time you fail and get back up, you're building strength. You're proving to yourself that you can handle setbacks, that you can overcome challenges, that you're tougher than you thought. And that kind of resilience, that's what separates those who succeed from those who give up. But here's the thing: embracing failure doesn't mean you're aiming to fail. It doesn't mean you're careless or reckless. It means you're willing to take risks. You're willing to step outside your comfort zone, to try something new, to put yourself out there, even if it doesn't work out the first time. Because you know that every failure brings you closer to success. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall over and over again. But do they stop trying? Do they say, walking's not for me? No. They get back up, they adjust, and they keep going. And eventually they walk. They run. They soar. That's the kind of mindset you need. That willingness to fall, to fail, to learn, and to keep going. Failure also teaches humility. It reminds you that you don't have all the answers, that you're not perfect, that there's always room to grow. And that's a good thing, because when you're humble, you're open. You're willing to learn, to listen, to take advice, to get better. And that openness, that's what leads to growth. Let's not forget, failure also makes success sweeter. When you've struggled, when you've faced setbacks, when you've had to fight for every inch, success means more. It's not just an achievement, it's a testament to your perseverance, your determination, your grit. It's a reminder of how far you've come and what you've overcome to get there. So how do you embrace failure as a teacher? Start by changing your mindset. Stop seeing failure as a bad thing and start seeing it as a necessary part of the journey. Accept that you're going to make mistakes, that you're going to stumble, that things won't always go as planned. And when those moments come, don't shy away from them. Lean into them. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Next, take action. Don't let the fear of failure hold you back. Don't wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Take that first step, even if it's not perfect, because every step you take, every action you make, brings you closer to where you want to be. And finally, be kind to yourself. Failure is hard enough without beating yourself up over it. Treat yourself with compassion. Remind yourself that you're human, that you're learning, that you're growing. And remember, every great success story is built on a foundation of failures. So don't fear failure. Embrace it. Learn from it. Use it. Because when you do, you'll find that failure isn't the end of the story. It's just the beginning. It's the start of something greater, something stronger, something more. And that, my friend, is how you turn setbacks into stepping stones for growth. Let's bring it all together now. Life at its core is about choices. Every single day, you're making decisions that shape your future, define your character, and create your story. And if you're not living by your own rules, by principles that resonate with who you are and who you want to become, then you're just drifting. You're letting the world, other people, and random circumstances dictate your path. But that's not the life you were meant to live. When you create and commit to your own rules like prioritizing what truly matters, choosing consistency over perfection, and embracing failure as a teacher, you take control. You set the terms for how you want to live, how you want to grow, and what kind of legacy you want to leave behind. These aren't just rules, they're a framework for building a life of meaning, fulfillment, and purpose. Living by your rules means you're intentional about your actions. You're not just reacting to what life throws at you, you're proactively shaping your journey. It's about knowing what's important to you, your values, your goals, your dreams, and aligning your choices with those priorities. It's about focusing your energy on the things that truly matter, the things that make you feel alive, the things that move you closer to your vision. But it's also about consistency. It's about showing up every single day, doing the work, and trusting the process. Because real change, real growth, doesn't happen overnight. It happens through steady, persistent effort. It happens when you commit to the journey, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, even when you don't see immediate results. And that commitment, that discipline, is what sets you apart. And then there's failure. You can't avoid it, and you shouldn't want to. Because failure isn't the opposite of success, it's a part of it. Every setback, every mistake, every stumble is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to get better. When you embrace failure as a teacher, you stop fearing it. You stop fearing it. You stop letting it hold you back. Instead, you use it as fuel, as motivation, as a stepping stone to something greater. Now, let me ask you this, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want a life where you're constantly chasing other people's expectations? Where you're stuck in a cycle of perfectionism and fear? Where you're afraid to take risks because you might fail? Or do you want a life where you're in control, where you're living with purpose? Where you're embracing the journey, the ups and downs, the successes and the lessons? Living by your rules doesn't mean life will be easy. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges or doubts or tough days, but it does mean you'll face them with clarity, with confidence, and with a sense of purpose. Because you'll know who you are. You'll know what you stand for. And you'll know why you're doing what you're doing. Think about the people who inspire you, the ones who seem to live with passion, with determination, with joy. They're not perfect. They face struggles, setbacks, and failures just like everyone else. But what sets them apart is that they've chosen to live by their own rules. They've chosen to prioritize what matters, to stay consistent, and to embrace failure as part of the process. And because of that, they've created lives that are meaningful, fulfilling, and impactful. You can do the same. You have that power. You have the ability to define your own rules, to live by them, and to create a life that reflects your values, your dreams, your purpose. It starts with a decision, a commitment to yourself. It starts with saying, "This is my life, and I'm going to live it on my terms." And here's the beautiful thing, when you live by your rules, you inspire others to do the same. Your actions, your choices, your determination, they create a ripple effect. They show people what's possible. They remind them that they too can take control of their lives, that they can live with intention, that they can create their own path. This isn't about being perfect or having it all figured out. It's about being real. It's about being authentic. It's about being willing to take risks, to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. It's about living in alignment with who you are and who you want to be. So as you move forward, ask yourself, what are my rules? What are the principles that will guide my life, my choices, my journey? And once you've defined them, commit to them. Live by them. Let them be your compass, your foundation, your North Star. Because when you do that, when you live by your rules, you'll find a sense of freedom, a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment that no external success or validation can provide. You'll know that, so here's the truth, this is your life, and it's yours to live on your terms. Define your rules, hold them close, and let them guide every step you take. Prioritize what matters, stay consistent, and embrace every failure as a lesson that makes you stronger. The path won't always be easy, but it will be worth it because it's yours. And as you walk that path, you'll not only transform your own life, but you'll inspire others to do the same. Live boldly, live authentically, and create a life that truly reflects who you are. The world is waiting,